Time for another Bearded Wonder Explains video. This time, we're going to have a look at the progressive era. So basically, when we're talking about the progressive era, we are talking about the progress of government. And if you remember nothing else about the progressive era, I want you to remember that basically this is the time in American history where everybody started to think that everything was the national government's job to fix. Government to the rescue. So if people are poor, if they are working, child labor, if their working conditions are terrible, that's going to be fixed by the national government. So let's talk about some amendments and how they fixed them. So the first one was if people are poor, if we have child labor, which really means we need better schools and all that kind of stuff, then the national government's going to have to step in and start helping out. And to do that, they're going to need money. And so to do that, they passed the 16th Amendment. It's commonly known as the income tax. So every April 15th, we have 16th Amendment Day. It's probably not marked that on too many calendars, but basically they pass an amendment saying that it is legal for them to take money from you before you have even had a chance to spend it. Bam, those problems are solved. And the national government says, no challenge is too great for us. We can overcome anything. And then they say, well, help us because the rich people control our choice of senators. And that's because it was designed to be that way. If you remember when we talked about how senators are picked, they're picked by the state legislators. They tended to represent people who were a little bit more elite. That was actually a check and balance. And the government was like, well, shoot, if everybody can vote, those people will no longer check or balance us. Let's do it. And so we have the 17th Amendment, and basically now the senators are elected by the people. And pretty soon we also have, and this has been a kind of a common theme in American history, we call it temperance. Basically this idea that alcoholism is ruining families, which it definitely did in some cases. And so we have the 18th Amendment, and so we call it prohibition. Basically, they make it illegal for people to drink alcohol. Again, problem solved. And next we go on, and the women, hey man, like, you know, if government can fix every problem, we want to vote. We call it women's suffrage, which is not women's suffering, even though they sound similar. And so women's suffrage. And so we have the 19th Amendment, and basically it solves that problem as well. And then, ironically, people decide that they don't like the problem that the government created. Does this sound familiar at all? And so to a progressive, there is no problem that the government can't take on, even and maybe especially problems that it has created itself. And so literally, they create the 20th Amendment to cancel out the 18th Amendment. And it's not limited to just amendments. If you want national parks, if you want a Panama Canal so that you can get from Florida to California faster on your cruise ship, if you want to conquer new territories out in the world, if the Great Depression has taken away your job, there is literally nothing, according to a progressive, that they cannot handle. The ultimate example of this, and we'll talk about this next unit in more detail, being the New Deal and Franklin D. Roosevelt during the Great Depression, and basically this idea that government can solve any problem at all is kind of the ultimate progressive era time period, where literally the government takes care of lots of things that it never took care of before. And that's pretty much where we are today. The government has never really given power back to the people. Even the neoconservative movement that we'll talk about with Ronald Reagan really just kind of stopped it from getting more powerful, never really made it less powerful. And so the progressive era, 1890 to 1930, 1940, is just this major time where federalism really kind of dies. This idea that state governments have anything to do with how their citizens live their lives kind of goes by the wayside, and the national government really becomes what we talk about. And so this explains why most of us think of ourselves as citizens of the United States of America. We connect ourselves to the national government. We don't really ever talk about being citizens of South Carolina or citizens of Idaho or Hawaii. We pretty much connect our citizenship to that national government, and the Progressive Era is the reason why. So that's it for this video. If you remember, if you can just remember that the Progressive Era is basically this idea that the national government can solve your problem. We are going to, as a government, be responsible for progress in society. Then you know the Progressive Era, and that's all I need you to remember. Thanks for watching. I hope you have a great day.